All right, now we're recording. Aloha and welcome everyone to Healing Moments with KarinnaNielsen. And I'm so grateful to have you here with me live on Zoom or live on Facebook streaming. So Facebook, that's simple. That's on my what do they call it? My homepage on Facebook is where it's streaming. But you can also go to my website, KarinnaNielsen.com. And there you will see the link on the homepage to our program webpage. And that's where it has the Zoom info. So if you want to ask me a question, you can always type it into the chat if you're here with me live on Zoom, or you can type it into Facebook Messenger. And I have one question in there already from Olga. Thank you. And we'll start. So welcome to December. How does that feel? I feel pretty happy that we're completing this year and starting a new one. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, about what are the ways that we can complete a year and start a new one with ceremony and in the goddess love. So let's have a moment first to center and ground, and everybody come together in our hearts, because there's a lot of hectic energy out there and a lot of things happening. We would just want to center into this space for the amount of time that we have together today. So everybody take a deep breath. We're going to take 5 deep breaths, and we're going to do the short version of the 5-breath self-healing meditation. So take a deep breath and you draw it in through your crown chakra, through the pineal gland. The golden particles turn into white light, and then you draw it down into your heart chakra. Weave the 4 bodies together, pause, and then release it out through your mouth, and it goes up your shoulders, out your palms, and into the part of the body that we're healing. So let's start at the crown chakra. Breathe in, lock it. Next hand placement is at the eyes. So take 2 fingers, breathe in, long deep breath, lock it. Exhale into the eyes and all the way back to the back of the head. And then the next one is at your heart muscle, left side of your chest, thumbs pointing upward. Long inhale. Hold it. Breathe out. And then the next one at your 3rd chakra, right below your rib cage. Breathe in, lock it. Exhale. And the last placement at your 2nd chakra, right here at the pubic symphysis. Breathe in, lock it. And I'll just offer a prayer now as we call upon the Creator, the Christ light, the Goddess weave of love, and all the energies of the very highest light of love that come together now to guide us in this journey we call Healing Moments with Karinna. We're grateful for all those coming in live and those that will listen on the recording and watch the video too. We pray for a centered and balanced energy, because we are goddesses, male or female, walking the journey of love and moving into and through the great shift in consciousness. We know this is a time that our mentors, Kahu Fred and Master Guide Kiro, have spoken about for many, many years. And now here we are, midst in the great shift. We can feel it in our hearts, and we can see it in the world around us. And we know that we have the tools and the techniques and the wisdom to get us through these shifting times. Although the times may seem precarious and we are challenged with every step that we take, we have the wisdom in our hearts to know how to move forward in love. And we offer this prayer in humble love and gratitude for all of those joining us today, including our spirit guidance and the higher selves of everyone here. So humbly grateful, and we thank you in love. Amen. So we are here, and I hope that helped to settle the energies a bit. If you want to know more about the 5-breath self-healing meditation, you can go to signaturecellhealing.com, and there is a video tutorial and an ebook. We also talk about it of course, here every month on the Healing Moments program. But also, if you join us every first and third Sunday at Honolulu Church of Light, there's an online Healing Sunday service where Kahu Fred actually goes through the whole 5-breath self-healing meditation. So I hope you can join us in that. And then, of course, we teach that in the Signature Cell Healing online courses and workshops. And we just finished a fantastic First Steps to Signature Cell Healing online course in November with lots of light workers from around the world. And I was so very grateful for everyone that joined us. There's a beautiful picture of that on my Facebook of everybody in Zoom. And we had a wonderful time learning the self-healing techniques that we need right now. And I'm going to be offering another course like that, probably in February or early March. So we'll have the registration opening in January, and you can join us again for that. I'm looking forward to it. So the purpose of our program here, this Healing Moments program, if it's your first time joining us, is the program is dedicated to healing the self and aging the soul to move forward on our evolutionary journeys. Each month, we create a space to look at life's big questions about healing and consciously creating our experience. Together, we're finding the answers, tuning into our hearts to move into the new dimensional energies. So this month's topic is, what would Goddess Light do? And I think this is a perfect topic for now, because there is so much going on in our world that seems to amplify the fear, and it helps us to choose love at times like these. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand at any time and I'll see that. And I'll call on you or you can type it in the chat in Zoom or in Facebook Messenger. So before we go on, I want to also remind you about the energies of this month. So we're in December and it's a Trinity month. So that means when we look at the Lemurian numerology, which you can find a real simple version of it on my website under the Lemurian, in the Lemurian Wisdom section, the Trinity month is a 3-month because we take any number and reduce it down to 1 digit. So the Lemurian numerology goes from 1 to 9. And this month, with the 1 and the 2, we come to a 3. And of course, we're moving from a 2-month. Last month, November, was a 2-month, which was all about the balancing. And you could really feel, oh, whoa, gotta balance the yin and yang and come into love. Well, here we have this opportunity again to balance in truth, trust, and passion. So according to the numerology, and this was brought from through Kahu Fred Sterling from Master Guide Kirill for our great shift in consciousness, the number 3 is the Trinity of truth, trust, and passion, which are the first 3 principles of the 10 principles of consciously creating. Focusing on the truth, trust, and passion of any situation allows for a perfect balance of energies. What is the truth of the situation? Can you trust your truth? And if so, bring your passion to it and watch all come into balance. Place any energy into the Trinity to bring it into balance, for love is found in the center. So whenever you have that Trinity energy, truth, trust, and passion, in the center is the balanced energy of love. So when you've got some kind of a situation going on for you in your personal life, in your professional life, just in life in general, Ask yourself, what is my truth? My truth. And that's the truth that comes from your heart. Can you trust that? What's your trust of that? And you might want to bring in the guidance to help you to trust that. And then the passion comes from your heart. So when you place all of that in the center of the Trinity, place that situation in there. Feel in your heart the truth of that. And if you don't feel your knowing, your truth, like Master Carol says, when you know, you'll know. And I think everybody has that feeling. We just know. And there's sometimes when we want to know, when we want to say, I know, well, I think I know, or it feels, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, okay, I know. There's nothing that speaks to it like that real truth knowing from your heart. Like, you know the sun's going to rise tomorrow. How about that? That's a knowing. Or the sun's going to set this evening. So it's a knowing that comes from your heart. Place it in the Trinity of true trust and passion this month, because we've got a lot of very transformative energies. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of opportunities for us to transform our world from a world of moving from fear to love into love to enlightenment. What a great opportunity this month. And we're closing out the year 2020, which was a 4-year, and moving into a year of love. So because we have 2005, 2021, sorry, 2005. Okay, so 2021, add up the digits and they come to a 5. So we're going to have a whole year of learning how to be in love. And what do you know? That's my life path number. And if you want to know your life path number in the Lemurian numerology, or your life path number, you add up the day, the month, and the full year of when you were born, all the digits, and bring it down to 1 digit. And that will be your life path number. So my life path number is 5. How cool is that? I get to immerse myself in the 5 years. So I'm looking forward to it. So let's talk a little bit about the celestial energies of December, because I don't usually talk too much about the astronomy and the astrology of things, because I dabble in it. I've done courses in it. It's not my main thing, let's put it that way, but I find so much wisdom and insights in the Lemurian astrology, which is a branch of the Shamanic Astrology Mystery School, where I studied with Daniel Giamario and Kaylin Castell. So I have my own version of that, and that's the Lemurian astrology. So I want to bring our attention to certain periods of time this coming month. So get out your calendars and start marking these things down, because it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster, maybe a little bit. So we want to keep doing that 5-breath self-healing meditation, keep focused in love. And the first phase that I want to look at is December 10th through the 16th. So this is very important, because we begin with, okay, so let's get an overview. The big overview right now is there are 3 very powerful, large planets that are gathering together from our viewpoint in the sky. And it is Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. And you may have heard about this throughout the year, because they've been kind of interacting with each other and becoming what they call conjunct, which means they look like they're at exactly the same degree in the sky. And it looks like they're very, very close together. Well, we're going to have something this month called the Grand Conjunction. And that's going to happen right on the solstice. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we want to look at one of these big planets, and that's Pluto. And on the 10th, there is a square, which is a 90-degree angle. And the square in Lemurian astrology is a crisis in action. Now, that doesn't mean anything bad. A crisis is what we need to move ourselves forward. If you don't have squares and oppositions, things like that, you're not moving, you're not evolving. So it's time for some of these energies to come together in that kind of crisis mode. And the crisis mode allows us to see where the next steps are. So the asteroid Aries is going to be square to Pluto. Now, Aries is the energy of the goddess of discord. And this is the one that started the Trojan War and got angry at Aphrodite and Helen of Troy. So, I mean, in Greek mythology, she's a pretty energetic goddess. So she will be in a kind of a square to Pluto, which is the planet of transformative energies. So we can see on the 10th, we can look for some kind of transformative things happening. So watch that day. And then we move on, speaking of goddess light, to the 12th. So we have the 12-12 portal, which would be a double trinity force, right? 12, 12, 3 and 3. And that's like a portal that's opening. And on that day, if you get up early, you can look to the eastern sky, and you have to look, it's pretty far down towards the horizon, but you need a low horizon to see Venus and the moon. So Venus and the moon will be at the 6th gate. And if you follow the story of Inanna, the Venus legend, there's a version of that on my website under the Lemurian wisdom, so you can read that. But it's the sacral chakra gate. So it's the gate that represents the second chakra. And the second chakra is our emotional chakra. They call it the sex and money chakra. It's part of what makes us human. And we are releasing out of this chakra as we go through the great shift in consciousness, releasing out of the first, second, and third chakra. Master Guy Kirill has talked a lot about the evolving light body and how we're putting chakras on the top and losing the lower 3 chakra as we evolve the lower chakras into the heart light of the 4th chakra, the green. So Venus at the 6th gate that morning, it's a beautiful thing. Even if you don't remember anything I said about it, just have a look, because it's very beautiful and it will be very close. And there will be some people that will experience an occultation, which means that the moon will cover Venus from the Earth's perspective, right? And it may just be very close where you are. Then we move on into the solar eclipse on the 14th of December. And that's a fabulous time. It will be visible only through the southern part of South America, but you can, if you want to see it, there are places to go online. Probably the NASA website has it, but you can also just tune into it. For Hawaii, in our time zone, it will start about 3:30 in the morning, actually 3:33. How about that? That's pretty cool. 3:33 in the morning. The maximum eclipse time is at 6:13, and then the ending of the eclipse is at 8:53 a.m. Hawaii time. So you're going to have to translate that to your own time. Of course, many parts of the world, it won't be visible, but we can tune into it. And why would we want to tune into it? Because it's a solar eclipse, and at the moment we're in the eclipse window. There was a partial preumbral lunar eclipse in November, and that opened this 2-week window to this solar eclipse. So it's always a time between the eclipses of radical possibilities of what can happen. So it's almost like pulling the Joker in the cards, kind of a wild card energy. This is a special, very special one, because it's at 23 degrees Sagittarius, and this is the degree of the galactic center. So it's they call it the Golden Gate. The Golden Gate is the portal energy that goes through to the galactic center. And Master Guide Carol has also talked a lot about the black hole at the center of the galaxy. And we're finding out that most galaxies have black holes at their center. Well, this 23 degrees, 24 degrees Sagittarius, that is the degree. If we could see it and we looked at that degree in the sky, we would actually see the galactic center. So this is where this eclipse is. So imagine the amazing portal that can open up for you if you're in meditation or you're tuning in to this energy. And what would that be? I'm not gonna speculate what it is for everybody, for you personally, but what it can mean is there are limitless possibilities that open to you at that time, because it's like all bets are off. You know, the portal opens and you have an opportunity to glimpse perhaps into the next year, into 2021, and what could it mean for you. And it's a perfect time to set your intentions for the completion of this year and moving into the new year. So think about that at the eclipse time. What are the possibilities if there were no limits, and if nobody said, oh, you can't do that, you know, no way. What if all bets were off and you just could do what you wanted to do, and you put it down in writing and you hold that as your mastermind going into the new year? How about that for possibility? So I said between 12:10 and 12:16, the next day, the planet Chiron, or it's not a planet, it's like Pluto, it's a half planet. They demoted it. Chiron is like an asteroid, and it represents our deepest healing in life. So it's considered the fracture point and a great opportunity for very deep healing. And you know, you might be saying, oh no, Karinna, no healing. But this is how we move forward, folks. You know, and it depends on how you react to the healing, right? How you deal with the healing. And if you know that instead of turning away from what is your healing or what might be fearful to face, you're facing what you need to see. So Chiron has been in retrograde motion. People talk a lot about Mercury retrograde, but most of the planets go retrograde from our perspective on Earth. Well, Chiron has been in retrograde motion, is now moving into forward motion. And there's that period, that time when it's at a standstill, moving from retrograde to direct. So there's also like a portal right there that you can tune into for healing. So Chiron will be moving direct on the 15th. I'm looking at my calendar at, I think that's 14 Aries. So that's really important for me because I have planets very close to that. So I'm going to be tuning in to the Chiron station. They call it the station when it moves between retrograde and direct. Then on the 16th, we have a spectacular thing that you can watch in the western sky on the 16th. You can look for the moon, which will move past Saturn and Jupiter. That's visible, but also moving past Pluto, which is not visible from Earth unless you have a really good telescope. So Saturn and Jupiter we can see, and we can see the moon move past them. Now the moon is considered like an amplifier. So the moon will be amplifying these energies. And I haven't spoken about the energies of Saturn and Jupiter yet, but let me do that. So the energy of Saturn is the energy of the structure of our third dimensional world. It's a management energy. It's an organizational energy. It's the energy of a wise elder that knows how to efficiently manage things. It's about the structure of societies. It's about, I've heard it called the playbook of being on planet Earth, So how do you move through the third dimensional world? So it's has a lot to do with what you see playing out right now in the world. Governments restructuring, governments shifting, things changing. And the Jupiter energy is the expander. So Jupiter is the energy of expansion. It's been called the Santa Claus planet because it expands everything, even the bad stuff, what you would consider the bad stuff, or chaotic energy. So Jupiter is amplifying Pluto and Saturn right now. So we have that transformative energy of Pluto being amplified, plus Saturn, which is the third dimensional governments. That's why we see revolutions, or we see people standing up to protest, things like that, amplified with Jupiter and Saturn, right? So the good news is these planets have been in Capricorn for a long time, been together. I mean, well, Jupiter only a year, but the other two a bit longer. It is an energy that creates the upheaval that we recognize as the great shift in consciousness. Because if we don't have transformative change, then how will we achieve the new world? So we'll let somebody else come in here now. Thank you. And so it's a time of that transformative great shift in consciousness. And we see that with the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and then the moon on the 16th. At that time, on the 16th, the planet Saturn will move into the sign of Aquarius. And a lot of people are talking about the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I mean, we've been talking about that. I've heard that since I was a little kid in the music, right? But this really may be it, because Saturn has been in its home sign of Capricorn for so long, maybe 7 years or so. So we have that heavy, governments, how do we do organization? How do we do politics? Things like that, moving into the lighter, airier sign of Aquarius, which is about humanitarian causes and revolutionary thought and thinking out of the box. And how can we get a better perspective on the world and perhaps bring in innovative things? So Saturn on the 16th will be moving into Aquarius, followed by Jupiter on the 19th. So imagine the energy that's created now on this from the 10th to the 19th. And now we move into the next phase I was telling you about. I'm trying to not bog down too much here if you're not interested in this type of thing. But on the 19th, we have Jupiter in Aquarius. So there we will have Saturn with Jupiter in Aquarius, which is amplifying that energy that I just told you about, innovative things, new solutions to the world's problems. And then we move into the eclipse, into the equinox, the solstice, the solstice. So the solstice occurs when the sun gets to 0 degrees Capricorn. So that is the beginning of a new cycle. The cycle in astrology begins at 0 degrees Capricorn. And it used to be the new year in the old calendar, right? But we have now the Julian calendar, and so it starts on January 1st. But I mean, in ancient times, the ancients recognized 0 degrees Capricorn, the December solstice. I won't say winter solstice because it's a summer solstice in the southern hemisphere, but you could say the December solstice is like happy birthday, Mother Earth. So we have a birthday for Mother Earth, and on that very day, we will have the grand conjunction. And the grand conjunction is Jupiter and Saturn. And you're going to be able, if you go out just after sunset, you'll have about an hour to see Jupiter together with Saturn. And if you're wondering which one is which, the brighter one is Jupiter and the orangier one is Saturn. And they will be drawing over the next few days up to the 21st. They'll be drawing closer and closer together in the western sky. And then on the 21st, we will have the grand conjunction, and it will be at 0 degrees Aquarius, a very powerful degree. We're at 0 degrees Capricorn for the sun, and 1 sign over 0 degrees Aquarius is the power of entering into the Aquarian era, I would say, the Aquarian era of new solutions, new forms of government, new ways of doing things, the great shift in consciousness. And Pluto not too far away, still in Capricorn, which is transforming the world as we know it. So there are other energies that play into this very important conjunction that happens every 20 years. However, it happens every 200 years in the sign of Aquarius. So this is a really important time, and it goes through several 20-year cycles in the air signs. And that just makes everything seem so much lighter on Earth and opens us up to the new dimensional energies of the 4th light, the 5th dimension, the 6th dimension. Our possibilities can be limitless if we allow them to be. All right, we're gonna let somebody else in here too. Welcome. Also, so that takes us to the 21st. If that's not enough, folks, that's a biggie. So that just that week between the 14th and the 21st is going to be extremely powerful. And I also wanted to tell you about, the planet Eris, the one I told you about, the goddess of discord. She will be coming together with Mars the next day on the 22nd. And then Mars will be square, that's that crisis in action, with Pluto on the 23rd. So there's a lot of transformative energy that needs to be released. And so what can we do? You might be thinking, okay, well, Karinna, you've told me all these monumental things, and I think I've covered just about everything I wanted to. What does it all mean? And of course, I think you know what it means, because I say it all the time. It's the great shift in consciousness. And for each one of us, we can look out of our world, and what we'll see is a reflection of where we are in the great shift in consciousness personally. So whatever's occurring out there and how we respond to it is a reflection of ourselves. So if you find you feel fearful, or you feel like you're caught up in chaos, take the time to get centered in your heart and do your meditations. Do a morning meditation, an evening meditation. You know what I'm going to say? I say it all the time, right? Do your 5 breath self-healing meditation. And if you were in my class, I see a couple people here that were in the First Steps of Signature Cell Healing class. Don't forget to do the vagus nerve meditation. That's really important too, as our bodies are shifting. I don't know about you, but this past couple of weeks, if not a month, have been really some kind of shifting in my physical body, taking on new energies, and then just, whoa, what is that? Then I got to get back into meditation and do the self-healing. It's so important to do the self-healing now, and try not to get drawn into other people's truths. And that's what I mean by the mainstream media or social media. Remember that there's a lot of emphasis on chaos and fear in order to draw you more and more into that world, because it's a business, folks. I mean, the news channels on TV or the social media things, that's a business, and they want to keep you coming back for more. So be choosy about where you get your information. And there are independent sources that you can go to, but everything will be relying on the choice of your heart and getting into meditation and just going into that truth, trust, and passion that we talked about for the month of December. So what a perfect time to really focus in on your heart and the centeredness of your truth, trust, and passion, and the love that's found in the center. Okay, so that is my informational energy about the planetary movements and the celestial energies for this month. I mean, you could go on forever because it's so deep and there's so much going on. If you're interested in the Lemurian astrology, I do readings. I also do Lemurian mentoring, which helps you understand the tools of the Lemurian wisdom, the techniques like the numerology, the 10 principles, and the goddess light. I also do goddess readings, and I do these on Zoom, and also Lemurian channel readings, which I did one the other day, and it was a lot of fun. So we do channeling. So please, go to my website, KarinnaNielsen.com, and you can read more about the readings and sign up for one if you like. And you can always email me at Karinna@KarinnaNielsen.com. So if you've got a question, Wendy in the chat says, lighter is good. Lighter is always good. Because why? Because we know that if it's lighter, we're moving into a new awareness. I really feel that. I really feel that when we feel the lightness of our heart, we're moving. That's one way we can tell, am I on the right track? Am I moving forward in love, or am I looking backwards in fear? So things that you're holding on to now may make you feel heavy and bogged down by the past and the fears that come from the past. Just know that those fears are only there because we hold on to them, or you hold on to the fear, honestly. And you might say, well, come on, this is really real and I got to do this. And, this has been going on forever. And it's your choice to let go of it or to hold on to it. And I've been really surprised at things that I've let go of, that I held on for years, and they just stopped. And I thought, well, that person is sure still angry at me, or that person is probably still remembers that, or what. They don't. It's only me, So I mean, what a liberating feeling to know that I'm in control of my world, of my life, and it's what I choose to do. And I think we all can have a focus of what is important for us. Of course, we got families. Some of you have children you got to take care of, and things like that. This is life, right? This is the blueprint, the life blueprint that we set up for ourselves. So there are certain obligations or things that we are lovingly responsible for. So there's various reasons for why that is, but we can choose how we respond to things in our lives and choose how we want to feel about it. And I think, Wendy, thank you for your comments. And I love that lighter is good, because we got to lighten up. And if there's anybody that needs to know that, it's me, because I have a lot of Saturn in my chart, and I can get awfully hard on myself. And I always remind myself just to lighten up and, go for a swim. That'll do it. Okay, so Mahina Ku also says in the chat, Mahalo for a review of the astrological forecast for December. Being aware of the energies that surround is very helpful to me. I'm so glad, because, people are going to talk about this, right? You're going to hear people say, the Christmas star is what they're saying now about the grand conjunction on the 21st, right? Because that it actually occurred in 7 BC that Jupiter and Saturn came together like this, and also quite close. But they're not saying that there was Jupiter and Venus, the goddess planet, that came together in 3 BC, which would be closer, wouldn't it? And Venus is even brighter than Jupiter. So, and Saturn is really not all that bright, just because of the nature of how it appears to us it has a foggy atmosphere, right? So Jupiter is really bright, and Venus is very bright because it's close to us. And so when those two came together in 3 BC, now that is what I think was the Christmas star. But you be the judge of that. You have a look and see what that looks like for you on the 21st. And we'll come back next time on the 2nd of January for our healing moments, and we'll see how you felt about it. Sandra is grateful for the information as well. Thank you. Okay, so before we get into the topic, I really want to, because I think our topic is, what would Goddess Light do? And the reason I chose this topic is because I think it's a good way to complete a year and move into a new year. And that's understanding love and how it moves us forward, and how we can tune into the Goddess Light within us. So as I said on the webpage or in the preamble for the program, nearly a year into the global pandemic, faced with incredible challenges, trials, and tribulations, there comes a time when things may seem so difficult that we may wonder how to get through each day. How can we even think about tomorrow when today holds such unprecedented challenges in our lives? In facing challenges, I've often asked myself, what would Goddess Light do? And in asking the question, I found a guiding light through difficult situations. But in critical times such as these, what does that actually look like? And how can we tune into this loving guidance? And why is Goddess energy and Lemurian wisdom so important right now? So when I ask what would Goddess Light do, the answer usually is choose love. And that sounds really simple, but I invite you to try it. And when you come to a situation where you feel really challenged, just sit yourself down and take a breath, or maybe 5, and ask yourself, what would Goddess Light do? And if it means to choose love, what does that mean right here, right now? And you're going to know if you say, well, I think I'll write them a letter and tell them what I think. You know, that's probably not choosing love. You know, I mean, how could you, respond in love or respond more lovingly? Or sometimes I've found the way to respond in love is simply not to say anything and allow the other person to live out their fears or live out whatever they want to do. And there's just no way you can change some people's minds, because that's where they need to be at the moment. So sometimes it's just, you're not ignoring it, but what you're doing is sending love to that person, and you're staying in love yourself by not dragging yourself into an argument or something like that. And I'm not saying that this is to the, sacrificing what's in love for you. So always when you choose love, you're choosing love for self first. So the question, the answer then could be, what is self-love in this case for me? And what would the Goddess Love be? Because what is Goddess Love anyway? We talk a lot about that, and I have a lot about it on my website. But very simply, the Goddess Light is the humble love of the Creator's light. So the humble love for self in the Creator's light. So it is the love of Creator within all of us. And we wear different color scarves, right? You can read that on my website as well. The 7 transitional colors of the Lemurian goddess weave. Mine is purple. And there's green, there's blue, there's aqua, there's the different colors. And this is the way that we see love. So if I were to look at the Creator, in meditation, I want to see the Creator, I would see the Creator in a purple light. And if you were a green goddess like Mahina Ku, you would see the Creator in a green light. It's just simply the Creator's light within us. So you don't have to know your goddess color, but it is helpful to know that there is goddess light within everyone, male or female. And the goddess light is the balance that we're all trying to find, the balance of the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. And I have new guidance, and we're going to talk more about that next month, probably. We could conceivably talk a little bit about it here. But this new guide is talking a lot about the goddess energy, Lemurian energy, the Denjay balance energy, which is the X chromosome. And we all have X chromosome. The women have the double X chromosome. The men have the X and the Y chromosome. But the X is the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. And when they're in balance, then we feel the love, right? The love is at the center of that X. So the men will have that, oh, how can I do this so you can see it? The Y chromosome, Y, because they have a shorter emotional leg on the X, but they can expand that and extend the part of the Y and make it into an X as you know, the men that you know that are nurturing their goddess light, bringing more love into their relationships. And this doesn't mean they're, you know, it's not about being gay or anything like that. I mean, any man can have more of an emotional, an active emotional body. And that's somebody who's working on his goddess light. So that's by way of explanation, a little bit about the goddess light. And when we tune into that in difficult times, like now, we can get an answer of choosing into love. So of moving into love. So I want to go to Olga's question here, because I'm just really moving along. And she's on the call, and she's sending greetings from Russia. Thank you so much. So nice to have you here. It was I had such a wonderful time going with Kahu 4 times to Russia. It was wonderful. The people there are just fabulous. The light workers are amazing. Anyway, dear Karinna, how can we heal the subconscious programs limiting us with the 5 pranic breaths? Listen to the body, feelings, and this is with gratitude and love from Olga. So how can we heal the subconscious programs limiting us with the 5 breath self-healing meditation? And that is very, very important. So just by virtue of saying the subconscious programs means we're not consciously aware of them, but we may be playing them out in our conscious life and just not aware. So the 5 breath self-healing meditation helps you to become more aware of subconscious programming. And recently I was speaking to Kahu about the 5 breath self-healing meditation and how could we take it to another level? Because he's always doing that, right? He's always taking it to another level. So he emphasized in the breathing that you breathe in, start breathing in for 5, a count of 5 breaths, hold it for 5, and then exhale for 5. And he's actually doing it for 10. So can you imagine? He's got a lot of practice in there, but start with 5 and then expand it into 7 count, 10 count, breathing in 5, locking it, weaving the 4 bodies, and then exhaling for 5 count. And what you'll find is, I've been doing this now, and what I'm finding is the breathing goes even deeper into the cellular consciousness. So what's happening when we do that breathing is we have the light going through our palm into these various areas, but our whole body is reacting to it. So my whole body feels it. And there are 70 trillion cells in our physical body, right? And each one of those has that mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. And those mitochondria in all of those cells are activating and empowering themselves. So what does that have to do with those subconscious programs? What happens is those programs are held at the cellular level. And with the 5 breath self-healing meditation, even going more deeply, you are activating the cellular consciousness. The cells feel the love that you're bringing in, and they're like, oh, what is this? And then what they'll do is start to release into the emotional body these subconscious programs that Olga's asking about. It goes into the mental body where you become more aware of it. And then in the spiritual body, if you send it into the spiritual body, you can release it. So it begins a process of releasing those subconscious programs. You may not even be aware of what it is really deeply. It can get into your mental body. Make sure you're moving it out into the spiritual body, because you don't want to get focused on third dimensionally. What is this? Why did I do it? What happened? Where does it come from? No, let it go, release it. So what a great question, especially now for this time of the year when we're in December. We're at that time when we're going to look back, and with the time that we have left, I want to thank you for your question, Olga. I want to talk about ways that we can complete this year and move into a new year. And that would be one of them, is amp up your 5 breath self-healing meditation and release those old programs. Reflect on the year and then let it go, because it's been a tough year. I mean, it's been something that nobody expected, such incredible transformation. We all, from Master Kirill's guidance and the guidance of spirit, we've known that there's a great shift in consciousness. We've known that there are a number of people that will need to leave the earth plane. But frankly, I could never have said that this would be the way. But where we are in the midst of it, and we can look back on this year in love and think about, when I look back on this year in love, I'm so very grateful because I met a lot of you. We did a couple of wonderful online courses in May and November, and another small one in between there. And it's just been, I've interacted with so many wonderful people. We started this Zoom communication, brought it to another level. I'm personally just very, very grateful for this past year. And I hope you can be too, and look and see where you can move forward. So have a look, just a look back in gratitude and love, and then look forward into 2021. And as the month moves along, do this as you're able, but especially when you come to the end of December on New Year's Eve, have your intentions ready. So as you go, you're going towards the end of the month, begin to create your statements of intention for next year. So these are mastermind statements, and there's something about masterminding on my website under the 10 principles. And you can read about it in the books from Kahu and Master Guide Kirill on signatureselfhealing.com. In the online store, there's just wonderful books. And there's a $5 special on some of them with plus shipping. So, I mean, 10 Principles of Consciously Creating is a wonderful book. Create your mastermind statements of intention, which are positive statements, and just start getting a list. I have a list. By the time I get to December 1st, I've created a list that I'm going to dedicate. And I create a ceremony at midnight on December 31st, where I release this past year's intention statements from 2020. And personally, I burn them. I have a burning bowl, but I don't, if you don't feel comfortable doing that and it's not practical for you, don't do it. You can release them however you want to release them. And then you dedicate your statements for 2021 in ceremony. So create a ceremony of release and dedication. Put on your goddess scarf, light a candle, get your crystals, do your 5 breath self-healing meditation, say a prayer, do all the things that you ceremoniously would do in the goddess light, or however you understand ceremony to be. You might even want to go to a special place where it's a sacred space for you, and dedicate your intentions for 2021. It's a year of love. And I can only think of wonderful things for next year, because it's just going to be wonderful, a year of great new beginnings in love. I want to, first of all, speaking of next year, I want to thank, and here it is, I want to thank the Sedona Journal of Emergence for their predictions issue, which came out in November. And look at, there I am. It's like that old song on the cover of the Rolling Stone, right? But, you know, not only am I, the channeling from Goddess Sophia is in here, which is also on my website right now, if you want to read the Predictions 2021 article with Goddess Sophia, the channeling. Of course, I'm on here with Kelly Magdalene, which some of you know, and also Pat Crosby's here, as well as Steve Rother and, you know, Lee Carroll and all those guys. But the goddesses are there too, so I'm grateful. And it's always a lot of fun because everybody likes to see their picture on the cover, right? So anyway, the Sedona Journal of Emergence is such wonderful people there in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I'm a regular contributor to that wonderful publication that provides so much guidance to so many people around the world. I want to also remind you to sign up for newsletters on my website, so you can be sure to find out when we have these Zoom calls, these Healing Moments programs. And also I want to let you know that our next global healing meditation for Mother Earth is going to be December 26th, Saturday at 9 p.m. your local time. So everybody, all you do is you go into meditation and send your light to Diamond Ted. And there's lots of information about the meditation on my website at KarinnaNielsen.com. Let me see if we've got everything here. Thank you, Olga, and thank you, Wendy. Boy, the time just flew. If there's any final questions, I could take them perhaps in the chat, or if you raise your hand. We're coming to the end of our time today, but the recording will be on my Facebook page, apparently. I'm not sure how that works, but also on my YouTube channel. So you can always go to the Karinna Nielsen YouTube channel, which is, and it's linked from my website as well. Boy, I'm so looking forward to this month, and I hope you are too, now that you know the different things that are coming up for us. It's going to be a great month and a great end to this year. I'm grateful to see a new year coming and us moving forward in love and lightness, Wendy, going into the air signs. I hope you all have a wonderful month of December, and I'll see you all back here on January 2nd, the first Saturday in January. Aloha, and have a wonderful month of December and a great new year. Aloha.